Welcome.
Hey guys, what's up? You guys having good time today? Second day?
Let's do that. That's my friend.
Right? It's awesome. There's no rain. It's perfect.
So, how are you enjoying the con so far?
I'm having a great time. This is my first con in Washington. I've been to Comic-Con and WonderCon and DragonCon. So
Okay, this is where you're from. Why?
I know. Yeah, I love it here. I actually grew up in Woodinville, Washington. That was like where most of my childhood was spent. I was born in Los Angeles and I now live back in LA. But I don't get to like come up and visit that much just because I shoot iZombie in Vancouver, BC. So we're always up there shooting the show, and then when the show's wrapped, I go back to Los Angeles and live my normal life.
Your normal life?
Yeah.
So what's it like working on iZombie?
It's great. I mean, we all get along so well as a cast, which hopefully comes off on screen. A cool thing was that Rose and I actually already knew each other before we started the show. She happened to be friends with my sister. They had worked on a movie together called Lovely Bones. And so yeah, when I came in to kind of read for the last time and like meet the producers and everybody, she was in there and we just kind of like smiled at each other and were like, hey, like good to see you. And we just seen each other like a few months before. So that was really cool that it was so convenient to be able to play her best friend when we already knew each other in real life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So excuse me. I wanted to know what made you. So you started with your sister as Aly and AJ, a singing group. Was that what you wanted to do with your career? Was just going to singing, or what made you transition to also doing the acting too? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think initially we were just into the arts in general, entertainment, whether it was singing, dancing, acting, even like art, painting, sewing. We did kind of all of it, and I think for the two of us, the major plus with doing music was that it involved each other and it was the two of us. Whereas when we would act in projects, we wouldn't always be cast in something together, obviously, even though we worked on a couple projects together. But I guess the music kind of started, I guess technically, like, I'm trying to think. Professionally, we began acting before we became professional musicians and singers. But it was kind of this progression that happened very naturally and without us kind of trying to do it on purpose. We just happened to be writing songs and playing music, and we picked up instruments at really young ages and took lessons, and then that turned into us songwriting and kind of just finding our own sound on our own. And then over time, we kind of looked at each other and said, hey, maybe we should start like a band. I mean, we were little at this point. We were like 12 and 10 or something. So obviously this is a very big deal. We had like a meeting. We were like, what's our band name gonna be? And we're like, Aly and AJ. That's just our names.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple, exactly. So then one thing led to another, and we got signed, and we toured for a lot of years, and then we ended up deciding to take just a little bit of a break from music and kind of focus on acting and our own projects. And now we're back making music together, and we're going to start releasing something in early 2017, which we're really excited about.
Oh, so she just took care of my next question, was when we're going to see the next album.
Yeah. Well, we've already written it, which is awesome, and kind of the most time-consuming part of making a record is the writing process, if you're actually an artist that writes music. And we basically started writing the record in May of 2016. So we've been writing this whole time, even during iZombie production. I've been kind of going back and forth to Los Angeles and staying in LA for like 5 or 6 nights and writing with AJ and going to the studio and then flying back to Vancouver. So it's been great, and it's actually worked out really well with both of our schedules because she's on a TV show on ABC called The Goldbergs. So she's always filming that show while I'm filming iZombie, and we both wrap production on the shows. I shoot iZombie up until mid-January, and she shoots until. And we ended up helping the financing by, going to investors and family members and fellow actors who, we've known for years, and we just kind of said, hey, you want to be a part of this? We're not making it for a lot of money, but it has a lot of heart and a lot of soul, and we shot it in our own home that we were all living in at the same time. So it was kind of like crazy when we would wrap and we would be done for the night, but there would still be a bunch of lighting rigs up and like sound equipment and mics, and it was really interesting. But yeah, we ended up releasing it, and it's going to be on Starz coming out in December, and then right now it's on iTunes and Amazon and like Google Play and all those crazy platforms, because there's literally a
where you can buy
bazillion.
movies.
Yeah, where you can buy movies. So yeah, so now it's out, and it's doing really well, and we're really proud of it. It's probably one of my favorite things that I've ever done with AJ, and we actually sang a song in the movie too together.
Right on,
Yeah.
right on, right on. So do you have any other projects coming up that we should know about?
Well,
'Cause you sound like you have just so much on your plate right now.
iZombie season 3, that comes out I believe February, March. Don't totally mark my words for that completely, but that's kind of what we've been told, at least as a cast. And we're really excited. We're really stoked about this new season. We think this is probably the best. This is the best season yet. We're doing 13 episodes, and you get to see all of the characters now, knowing the secret that Liv is a zombie. So everybody now at this point is in on it. If you haven't watched all the seasons, I guess I just kind of blew it for you, but oh well. So yeah, so everybody's now in on it. All of us, main cast, the 6 of us. And it's great. It's fantastic. You know, Rob Thomas, our creator, is so fantastic and such a great boss, and always gives us great storylines. And like I said, because we all are actually friends in real life, and we go and hang out and get drinks and get dinner or meet up and work out together, it makes our job so much easier as actors to actually come to set and have fun. Like the other day, we ended up having an episode where Liv eats the brain of a Dungeons and Dragons master, which is pretty fantastic, and I think probably my favorite brain she's ever been on. It's so fantastic and funny, and I think there's been a lot of really good ones that she's had to take on, but this is probably my favorite. And we just had like an absolute blast on set, and it was, you know, not every single day is always going to be super fun. You know, sometimes it's like really hard work and everybody's kind of...
Well, it's your job.
Yeah, and it's our job, we're super concentrated, or maybe it's like something really technical and so there's stunts involved, or you know, maybe a dangerous element or whatever. And for some reason, we just had like we all agreed as a cast, like all of us were sitting there. The only cast member that wasn't in the scene actually was David Anders, who plays Blaine. But we all like sat there and looked at each other and we were like, this is the funnest day on set that we've all had of the entirety of season 1, 2, and 3, which I thought was pretty cool. So so that episode comes out like mid-season next year. It's episode 9, yeah. So look forward to that. That's my favorite.
Really spoilers. Can you give us any other hints about season 3?
Yeah, you're gonna see more of Blaine and Peyton and Robbie. So there's kind of a little love triangle there between them. She kind of can't make up her mind on who she should like, so she just, I think, is kind of with almost both of them. But yeah, eventually she's obviously got to leave one of them. So we haven't quite gotten to that part yet. Can't also give that away, but I don't even really know where it goes, because they only tell us actors so much, and then they like to kind of keep us in the dark. So, but you'll see more Robbie, Peyton, Blaine stuff this coming season.
Nice, right on. So I want to take the moment here to open up to audience questions. If you've got any, just come on up and step up to the mic.
Yeah, I'd love it.
And let's ask Aly some stuff here. Hi.
Hi there.
Hey, good to see you again.
I actually forgot to ask this one earlier. I just didn't want to stand there taking up all your time. What is it? You mentioned that you guys are friends and you go and you hang out and stuff. So, what kind of is the process that you have when you're friends in real life, but like you guys had that major blow up in the show when you first found out she was a zombie? Where do you go for that?
That's a really good question. I think because our jobs are so bizarre, we're kind of playing dress up and make believe every day as our job. We end up going somewhere in our mind in either our own real life experience, whether it was a fight with a friend or a boyfriend or, you know, a family member, and you kind of put yourself back in that place, you know, where you were emotionally, where you were mentally, and you kind of substitute, you know, that person for someone else. And it's kind of it's like a mind game in a weird way. You know, when
being a loved one has come out to you as a zombie.
yeah, exactly. That's always a good one, right? When you're like, oh yeah, let me just rewind that. Okay, I got that memory. There you go. Yeah, not exactly, but maybe it's some other thing that they come out to you about, you know, or that or a secret that maybe someone's been hiding for a while and they decide to tell you way after the fact, and you're kind of like, I'm your friend. I'd love you regardless. You know, why didn't you just tell me this from the very beginning? So,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. That's a great question.
Hey.
Hi.
So, if Liv Moore ended up eating your brain, what obnoxious quirk would you be left with?
Oh my gosh, it's a fantastic question. Also,
awesome.
there's no one that's ever asked that question. You're the first person. You're awesome and amazing. You should get a special award, I feel like.
We are going to give her a special award, and it's going to be these books from Evil Girlfriend Media from Katie Cord, who will be up here on the stage later, and they are signed. Make sure you go visit her at booth 101.
Good. I'm glad that you were rewarded with something. What quirks would she get? Well, it's funny. When I'm really laughing really hard, my eyes almost always close. Like, there's a lot of photos with me like that, for some bizarre reason. So I think she would be probably doing that a lot. I'm trying to think. I'm a bit of a bookworm, so she would probably be reading a lot of books. I'm obsessed with animals and my dog specifically, so I'm sure you would start to see Liv with a lot of shelter dogs in the apartment, which might become a problem with her being a zombie and all. And what other little quirks and things? Gosh.
I like these quirks. If I wasn't married.
That's funny. Gosh, quirks. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard sometimes to also look at yourself and point out the quirks about you. Although I'm sure if I called my sister up right now or my husband, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I've got about 70 here. Want to hear them?" So I don't know exactly all of them, but those are at least a few. Those are some. Yeah, I don't know. I have a pretty dark sense of humor. I'm pretty sarcastic. So I think you would see Liv probably saying like quite a few sarcastic little snarky comments.
So, snarky dog loving Liv.
Perfect.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks.
My question is,
Hey.
I know I'm dating myself like you. I miss the Disney
Mhm.
and everything. Will we ever get to see films future come back?
You know, honestly, I think if they wanted to do a reunion, that's a great question. If they wanted to do the reunion, I think all of us would come back. I mean, at least if it was just like a fun, you know, last episode, or I don't know, you see them like 15 years down the line, because I guess that's probably about how long it's been since we all were on that show. But I'd like to think that everything worked out and that Keely and Phil got together and everybody lived happily ever after, and that maybe they ended up just getting stranded and never going back to the future. I think that that's kind of the idea I like to think, but they've never officially brought the show back. But I'm still really good friends with Raviv, who played Phil on the show actually, and he actually has a Kickstarter, which is really cool, about Standing Rock, the no DAPL. So he's trying to make a documentary on that movement right now. And so if you check out his Kickstarter, just type in Raviv Ullman Standing Rock Kickstarter. That will pop up, and you could donate to his documentary, which I think is awesome. And he's actually, you know, doing something really great with his talents.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey.
So, we know that a lot of the Veronica Mars cast has been in iZombie. Who's
Yeah.
your favorite person to work with from the Veronica Mars cast?
You know, Jason Doring is actually going to be on this season. Yeah, and he's awesome. We actually don't have a scene together, although we're kind of in the scene. We just don't talk together. I don't know if I'll have any scenes with him this season, but he's really fantastic, and he's so good as the character that he's playing. He's kind of playing a villain this season, and we were really stoked to have him come to set. He's going to be in, I'm pretty sure he's going to be in at least like 3 or 4 episodes. And he kind of has something to do with the Fillmore Graves part of where we left off on season 2. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
So you're friends with Rob Thomas,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So do you ever ask help? Like, do you ever ask for help from Rob Thomas? Like, does he ever help you with the music?
Oh, okay, so Rob Thomas, as in Rob Thomas the writer, because there are 2 Rob Thomases out there, which actually is kind of funny. So Rob Thomas, the creator of Veronica Mars, and then Rob Thomas from, what is it, Matchbox 20?
Matchbox, yeah.
Yeah.
Matchbox 20.
What was that one episode?
Yeah, exactly. So I never had a scene with him in the show, in iZombie, so I never even got to ask him any music questions, although I probably would have loved to. And I was a big fan of his music, especially in like the early 2000s when Matchbox 20 was like the thing to listen to. But the guy's really cool, and I kind of love that Rob Thomas, our creator, played such a great pun on the whole Rob Thomas thing. The show was pretty brilliant.
Right on.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite, acting or singing?
I think the main difference between acting and singing for me, besides the fact that I'm acting and I'm singing in one, is with music, I happen to have more control as an artist because I'm writing my own music, I'm performing it, I'm show, you're kind of one tiny little piece in this huge, huge puzzle because there's so many people that work on a production. You've got people that are doing the costumes, people that are lighting, people that are actually shooting the footage and the images that you're seeing on the screen. And you've got actors and you have catering. So there's so many elements to the acting side that your one little piece is very small. You're just a little tiny part of it. And you happen to not have quite as much control. So I think the one plus to being in the music side of things is that I get to really have, full control over the kind of art that I get to make and that is put out there. So I would say that acting just might music might have a tiny bit of a lead on acting, even though I love playing different characters and being able to, find out their personalities and who they are. It's a good question, sweetie. Hey.
So who is the prankster on iZombie, and what's your favorite prank? That's my favorite question.
Who's the
I
prank?
love you.
Who's the
I love
prankster? I would probably say, for sure, it would be, I think, Rob Buckley or Raul. They're both kind of prankster types. I don't know. I'm trying to think. They're not maybe like pranksters in the sense of like whoopee cushions and stuff like that, just because we are on set and we have to be as professional as possible. But they're like definitely like the most goofy, and like they'll like come in like a onesie, to set and like go through lines at rehearsal in like a full-on onesie, stuff like that. They're pretty crazy, but they're good dudes, and yeah, they're awesome. I mean, they both get along really well too with each other, so they're always kind of up to something. Yeah.
So does anyone else have any questions? Nobody? Okay, well,
You do? Yeah, go ahead.
First time a compliment you tell us you've been hometown from here and coming back and been always happy. Some people have been happy that moving. She's happy she get a time coming back with all the movie. And I had a hard first time not recognize you. I really like the iZombie.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's great being back in a state that, I grew up in, and I loved being able to, be a child in, and being in this like wilderness and having such fantastic resources at such a young age is really amazing, because you're using your imagination, because you're out, in the middle of the forest or with trees, and in California, we still have that, but it's not totally the same. The Northwest is known for its beauty. And I was really lucky to be able to experience that. I'm sure that's part of why I ended up becoming an actor, was playing those games and letting my imagination run wild. So it's really nice to be back.
A lot in Germany is similar the same way.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I've been from the ship. I having all in this stuff. So,
Ah.
so this thing I like Washington State.
Oh, good. That's
Okay,
awesome.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
My question kind of has two parts. We were talking
Yeah.
about upcoming movies. I saw you were cast in a movie called Killing Winston Jones.
Yeah.
And what can you tell us about that? And did you get to work with Richard Dreyfuss? And what was that like?
Yeah, I did get to work with Richard Dreyfuss. He's amazing. He's a great actor, and he's been in so many classic films. That movie we had a lot of fun shooting. We shot it in Savannah, Georgia, and it's basically about these two PE teachers that are trying to get their name on a plaque, being memorialized in their name, and so they're both kind of competing to die first, one over the other, so that they'll get their name up on this big huge board in the gymnasium. And it's just like, it's so ridiculous and over the top, but in a great way. And it's him and Danny Glover basically fighting for that role. So I play Richard Dreyfuss's daughter, who's kind of crazy and bizarre and always running around. And yeah, it was a really good shoot. It was fun. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone else have a question? No? No? Well, I want to thank you for coming up and talking
Yeah,
with
thanks so much
us.
for
I
having
really
me.
appreciate it. Make sure you guys go check her out at her table. She's on the wall back there. I don't remember any of the
No,
numbers
it's okay.
now.
I'm on that far wall in the back.
And make sure that you check her out on CW's iZombie.
Thanks, guys.
And
Thanks
look for her
watching.
new album with Aly and AJ next year.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
You too.
Thanks.